So coming up now, we have Tammy Bruce, president of the Independent Women's Voice and Fox News contributor, and Marie Harr, former State Department spokesperson and Fox News analyst. Let me start with you, Marie. In terms of the collegial environment that we heard today, right? We know that they're gonna have this vote tonight.
Yes.
Not going to pass. The president wants to secure the border, which he's made pretty clear. So far, it doesn't look like, from the big picture, 30,000-foot level, that these two sides want to get together and care about people perhaps who are outside the Beltway for a little bit.
Yes, so those interviews were both fascinating for a number of reasons. The House will tonight pass a funding bill that mirrors what the Senate passed unanimously last December, that would reopen the government, that has no border wall funding. The question will then be, does the Senate take that up? And if it was good enough in December, why is it not good enough now? And the answer we know. President Trump has said he won't sign it. That's not a substantive answer, right? You had today the first Republican senator saying we should reopen the government without border wall funding. Cory Gardner in Colorado, he's facing a tough re-election in 2 years. There may be more Republicans like that in the Senate. So I think what we see today is this is a new Washington than it was yesterday.
We also have Democrats who were fine with $25 billion expenditure for the border who now aren't for it anywhere either.
But now it's a numbers game, right? The House is going to come out and say, we passed something that would reopen the government. And those 800,000 government employees who are real Americans, who are not getting paychecks, they are going to start getting even angrier. The question will now be, we've all talked about, is there a DACA for border wall funding deal to be had? That seems very sensible. I have no indication either side has put that deal on the table in the room.
It was already on the table last year.
But is it in the room now?
It was one of the first things that the president offered, and they rejected it.
And he doubled the number of DACA recipients.
What's interesting here is that after 4 hours working the new Democrat House, they voted themselves several days off. They immediately voted to leave after 4 hours on the job. So they're leaving. So apparently they don't think it's an incredible crisis that would require them to stay for tomorrow. Most of us will still be working tomorrow because, it's a work day. So this is why Congress actually has an 8% approval rating. This is part of the problem. And the reason that what the Congress has presented, what the Senate presented, and what the House is dealing with is unacceptable is because there's a thing called the president. He's the executive of this company of America. And he is saying, look, for all of the rest of this to work, we need to have the border secure because this affects the economy and criminality and safety and jobs and everything else. Everything else they want to fund is affected by this element. It is a simple thing to have to come to, and actually it's a great idea to make these elements come together and have to admit, let's go for it. It was based on also your opening. Let's do something for the country as opposed to positioning ourselves for politics. I'm now characterizing the Democrats in the House, maybe all of Congress, as food stylists. These are people who set things up to look really nice. They're legislation stylists. They know it will go nowhere, but they're demonstrating for their base what they would like to do, but they know it means nothing. That's what Republicans experienced when they controlled the House, but not the Senate. The Democrats will do the same thing, and a lot of those new idealistic people in the House are going to become very frustrated that for a lot of these people, it's a game. The president wants action, and that's what he wants.
That's why they have an 8% approval.
Well, and the American people voted for Trump because they want action. And the Democrats, this is a test. The American people put them in there to test them. Even right now, after 4 hours on the job, they're failing that test.
And they put Democrats in to provide some oversight, right? They said we want to have divided government in Washington. It's only been 4 hours. Let's see if they can actually reach a compromise. We don't even know if it's on the table anymore.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And I do recommend that everybody read your piece on Mitt Romney, which was fascinating. Thank you very much, Marie. Great to see you. As always, happy New Year, everybody.